Level 1. The phone call. You are sitting in your apartment eating cereal out of a bowl that has a small chip in the rim. It is a Tuesday morning. You are 31 years old. You make $62,000 a year working in marketing for a company that sells industrial cleaning supplies. Your rent is due on Friday. You are $400 short. You are wondering if you can ask your manager for an advance without seeming desperate. Your phone rings. The number is unfamiliar. You almost let it go to voicemail. You answer because you are bored and because some part of you is hoping it is a recruiter from a better company. The voice on the other end is professional and slow. He asks you to confirm your full name and date of birth. You confirm them. The voice says he is an attorney representing an estate. He says your great-uncle passed away 9 days ago. You barely remember your great-uncle. You met him 3 times in your entire life. He sent you a birthday card with $20 in it when you turned 16. You wrote him a thank you note. Your mother made you do it. You never heard from him again after that. The attorney says your great-uncle left you a substantial inheritance. You ask how substantial. The attorney pauses for a moment. He tells you the gross value of the estate transferring to you is approximately $100 million. You set the cereal bowl down very carefully on the counter. You ask him to repeat the number. He repeats the number. You sit on your kitchen floor for a long time. You don't remember finishing the call. You stare at the ceiling. You count the cracks in the paint. Your hands feel like they belong to someone else. You think about your rent. You laugh out loud. The laugh sounds strange in the empty apartment. You wonder if this is a scam. You look up the attorney's name online. He is real. The firm is real. The address is real. You sit on the floor for another hour. Level 2. The paperwork. The attorney's office is in a building you have driven past 1,000 times without ever entering. The lobby has marble floors. The elevator is silent. You are wearing the only suit you own. It doesn't fit right anymore. You bought it for a wedding 4 years ago. The receptionist offers you coffee and you accept, and then you forget to drink it. The attorney is a tall man in his 60s with silver hair. He has a calm way of speaking that makes you feel like a child. He explains the situation. Your great-uncle had no children. His wife died 11 years ago. The other relatives on that side of the family had a falling out with him decades ago. Nobody remembers exactly what the original argument was about. You were the only person he kept track of. He did it quietly, from a distance, for reasons you will never fully understand. He left you everything. The attorney walks you through the paperwork. There are 80 pages. There are forms you don't understand. There are tax implications that have their own tax implications. The estate includes cash. It includes investment accounts. It includes a real estate portfolio across 4 states. It includes partial ownership in 3 private businesses. It includes a house in Connecticut that you have never seen. The attorney recommends you assemble a team immediately. A wealth manager, an estate attorney, a tax accountant who specializes in high net worth individuals. He gives you the names of several. He says none of this is optional. He says people who handle this alone make catastrophic mistakes. He has seen it happen before. He tells you a story about a man who tried to manage everything himself. The man lost half the estate in 18 months. You don't say much. You sign where he points. Your hand is shaking. You don't notice it until you see the signature on the page. Level 3. The secret. You haven't told anyone yet. Not your parents, not your 2 best friends, not your girlfriend of 3 years. You don't know how. You walk around your normal life pretending nothing has happened. You go to work and sit in meetings about quarterly projections. You nod at the right moments. You wonder if any of it matters anymore. You eat lunch at your desk. You take the bus home. You make pasta with sauce from a jar. You watch television. You go to bed. The strangeness of it is overwhelming. The gap between what you know and what everyone around you knows feels physically uncomfortable. You feel like you are wearing a mask all day. You start to understand something you had never thought about before. Money this large is not a thing you have. It is a thing you become. And you have no idea yet what you are becoming. You read articles late at night about lottery winners who lost everything within 5 years. You read about heirs who destroyed themselves with drugs. You read about families that tore themselves apart over inheritances a fraction of the size of yours. You read about a man who won 300 million and was dead within 7 years. You read about a woman who inherited 80 million and ended up in a halfway house at 40. The internet is full of warnings. The internet is also full of strangers who will become very interested in you the moment they find out. You make a decision. You will tell almost no one. Not yet. You need to think. You need to understand what this is before you let it into your life in any visible way. You tell your girlfriend you have a family emergency that requires some travel. You tell your manager you need to take a leave of absence. You don't tell either of them why. The first lie is easy. The lies get easier after that. You feel guilty about it for about 3 days. Then you stop feeling guilty. That worries you more than anything else. You walk through your old neighborhood at night. You look at the people sitting in windows. You wonder if any of them carry secrets like yours. You wonder how many invisible fortunes are walking past you on the sidewalk. You wonder how many quiet lives have a second life hiding inside them. You go home. You don't sleep. You watch the sun come up through the cheap blinds in your bedroom. You realize you will never live in this apartment again. You realize you are already gone. Level 4. The team. You hire the wealth manager first. Her firm has handled estates larger than yours for 3 generations. She meets you in a conference room with a view of the city. She walks you through what is about to happen. There will be a tax bill, a large one. There will be ongoing management costs. There will be decisions about asset allocation that you are not qualified to make on your own. There will also be opportunities, she says, that most people will never see in a lifetime. She speaks to you with the kind of patient respect that you have never received from anyone in a professional setting before. You realize after the meeting that this is what money does. It rearranges how people speak to you. It is uncomfortable. It is also addictive. The estate attorney is next. He is older and grumpier. He explains the structure of trusts. He talks about generation skipping and asset protection. He explains the difference between revocable and irrevocable. You understand maybe 40% of what he says. You write down the words you don't know so you can look them up later. He tells you that the structures you put in place now will affect your life for the next 50 years. He says most heirs ignore this advice and regret it. You decide not to ignore it. The tax accountant is third. He looks at your financial situation and shakes his head slowly. He says you have been overpaying taxes for 9 years on your modest income. You never knew how to file properly. He says that is the least of your problems now. He gives you a list of things to do and a list of things never to do. Don't make large gifts without asking him first. Don't buy property in certain states without asking him first. Don't give money to friends or family without asking him first. You start to understand. Wealth has rules. Wealth has structures. Wealth has its own language. You are about to learn to speak it, whether you want to or not. You start reading books at night. Books about taxes. Books about trusts. Books about how old families pass money through generations without losing it. You barely sleep. You take notes in the margins. You highlight passages. You feel like a student again. You also feel like you are studying for a test that nobody told you was coming. Level 5. The new normal. 3 months have passed. The estate has cleared probate. The money is in accounts under your name. Not all of it is liquid. Most of it is invested across hundreds of holdings managed by your wealth manager. But the part that is yours, available, spendable, is more money than you ever thought you would see in your life. You quit your job. You did it cleanly. You gave 2 weeks' notice. You didn't tell anyone why. You said you wanted to travel. Your manager said he understood and wished you well. He won't think about you again. You walk out of the building on your last day and you feel almost nothing. You expected to feel triumphant. You feel empty instead. You move out of your apartment. You don't buy anything ridiculous. Your wealth manager warned you about that. The first 12 months are when most errors do the most damage. The cars, the boats, the properties that take more to maintain than most people earn in a year. You rent an apartment in a better part of the city. You buy better clothes. You start eating at restaurants that you would have walked past before. You feel like a tourist in your own life. You tell your girlfriend the truth. She cries. Not because she is sad, because she doesn't know how to process it. Something shifts between you that night. You feel it immediately. You can see her trying to figure out what this means for her. You can't blame her for that. You are trying to figure out the same thing. You tell your parents. Your mother cries too. Your father is quiet for a long time. Then he says he is happy for you. Then he doesn't really say anything else for the rest of the evening. The room feels different after that conversation. You can feel a small distance opening between you and the people who raised you. You tell your two best friends. They are excited at first. They are happy for you. They want to celebrate. They want to go out and drink. Within a few weeks, you can see them watching you differently, looking at what you wear, noticing when you pick up the check. They don't ask for anything. Not yet. One of them makes a joke about you forgetting where you came from. He says it like it's a joke. You both know it isn't. You laugh anyway. That night, you go home and you don't sleep. You stare at the ceiling of a much nicer apartment than the one you lived in 2 months ago. You think about how fast the air changes when something fundamental shifts. You think about how nobody warns you about this part. Level 6. The lifestyle. You bought a house. Nothing absurd. A 4-bedroom in a neighborhood where the average home costs $3 million. It is the smallest house on the street. You did that on purpose. Your wealth manager told you to never be the most visible person in any neighborhood you live in. Visibility attracts problems, lawsuits, burglaries, friends who become enemies. You take her advice on almost everything now. You travel now. Not the way you used to. Not with a backpack and a hostel reservation and 3 weeks of saved vacation time. You travel with planning and comfort. You travel without the small frictions that defined every trip you ever took before. You fly business class. You stay in hotels that have staff who remember your name on the second visit. You eat in restaurants where the bill at the end of the night would have been your rent for a month. You go to Japan. You go to Italy. You go to places you had only seen in photographs. The strangeness has faded. That is what surprises you. You thought it would always feel strange. It doesn't. The human capacity to adjust is remarkable and slightly terrifying. Within 6 months, this is just your life. You stop being shocked by prices. You stop calculating what things cost in terms of how many hours of work they represent. The math doesn't apply to you anymore. You no longer trade hours for dollars. You have so many dollars that hours have become the only resource that matters. Time. How you spend it. What you do with it. Who you spend it with. You start to understand why wealthy people are obsessed with longevity research. They are obsessed with wellness retreats and supplements and optimization. They have already solved the money problem. The only problem left is the body that contains them. The only problem left is the time that body has left. You join a private gym. You hire a trainer. You get a full body scan that costs more than your old monthly salary. The results are fine. You feel relieved. Then you feel ridiculous for feeling relieved. You hire a private chef once a week. You hire a housekeeper. You hire an assistant who manages your calendar. Your life now requires a staff to function. You did not plan for this. You did not know rich people lived this way until you became one. You also did not know how isolating it is. The staff are kind and professional, and they do not know you. You spend more time with them than with friends. You don't know what to do with that fact. Level 7. The requests. They come slowly at first. A cousin you haven't seen since a wedding 8 years ago messages you on social media. He is starting a business. He needs an investment. Just a small one. He has a deck. Could you take a look? An old college roommate calls you out of nowhere. He is going through a hard time. His wife left him. He needs help making rent. Just for a few months. He will pay it back. You know he won't. He knows he won't. You wire it anyway because saying no the first time feels impossible. An acquaintance from your old job sends you a long email about a charity she is involved with. They have a gala coming up. They would love your support. You don't know how she found out about the money. You tell yourself that maybe she didn't. You tell yourself maybe this is just a coincidence. You know it isn't. Word has gotten out. It always does. Your father calls you and asks if you could help his sister pay for medical bills. You hadn't known your aunt was sick. You feel terrible. You wire the money. Your mother calls you a week later. Her best friend's son needs help with college tuition. He is a good kid. He works hard. It would mean so much. You wire that money too. You can see the pattern forming. The requests are getting bigger. The frequency is increasing. Strangers find you somehow. You get letters in the mail. You get emails from addresses you don't recognize. You tell your wealth manager. She nods like she has seen this exact scene play out 100 times. She says you need to make a rule. Not for the world, for yourself. She says you need to decide what you give. You need to decide what you don't. You need to decide why. You need to write it down. She says if you don't have a rule, every individual request will eat at you until you have no peace left. You make a rule. You set a number for annual giving. You create a small foundation. From now on, all requests go through the foundation. You tell people that. They don't like it. Some of them stop talking to you. You learn to be okay with that. It takes longer than you thought it would. You think about your great uncle sometimes. You wonder if he had to make these same rules. You wonder how many people he turned away in his life. You wonder if that is why he died alone. You wonder if that is what is waiting for you on the other side of all this. Level 8. The relationships. Your girlfriend left you 8 months ago. The breakup was complicated. She said it wasn't about the money. You both knew it was about the money. Not because she wanted it, because she didn't know how to be with you anymore. The two of you used to share something, stress about rent, excitement about a vacation you had saved for, the small daily texture of building a life together with limited resources. That texture was gone. You could buy anything. You could go anywhere. The shared problems that had bonded you simply evaporated. She said she felt like she was a guest in your life instead of a partner. You didn't know how to argue with that. You let her go. You miss her in a way that surprises you. You miss the version of yourself that existed when you were with her. That version is gone now. You date other people. The dating is different. You don't tell people about the money on the first date, or the second, or the third. You don't want to be evaluated as a wallet, but you can't fully hide it either. The car you drive, the neighborhood you live in, the casual mention of a recent trip, people put it together quickly. You start to notice the change in their eyes the moment they understand. Some of them try harder. Some of them get nervous. Some of them are honest about being intimidated. A few of them try to fake humility in ways that are painful to watch. You don't know who likes you for you anymore. You don't fully know who you are without this anymore. The two best friends from before are still your friends, technically, but the dynamic has shifted permanently. You pick up the check every time, not because you want to, because it would be strange not to. They have stopped insisting. They have stopped trying. There is a quiet resentment in one of them that you can feel even when he is laughing at your jokes. He doesn't know how to be your friend anymore. He doesn't know how to admit that to himself. The other one has simply accepted that the friendship has become asymmetric. He has decided it is still worth having. You appreciate him for that. You meet new people, wealthy people, people who don't care what you have because they have it too. The conversations are different, easier in some ways, hollow in others. You miss the friends you used to have. You can't go back. There is no version of going back. Level 9. The Steward. You are 38 years old. 7 years have passed since the phone call. The money has grown, significantly. The investments your wealth manager structured for you have compounded. The rates of return still feel unreal to you when you see the statements. The 100 million is closer to 180 now. You have not spent your way through it. You have done the opposite. You have learned, slowly, through many small mistakes, to be a steward of capital rather than a consumer of it. You sit on 3 nonprofit boards. You attend galas where the other guests have last names that appear on buildings at universities. You have learned to navigate those rooms. You have learned that the genuinely wealthy do not talk about wealth. They talk about projects. They talk about ideas. They talk about the families they grew up in. They talk about the children they are raising. The money is assumed. The money is the floor of every conversation, never the subject. You started a foundation that does real work. Not the small one from the early years. A larger one with full-time staff and a board. It has a focus area that you chose after 2 years of thinking about it. Education for kids in the kinds of neighborhoods you grew up adjacent to, but never lived in. You visit the schools the foundation supports. You sit in classrooms. You see kids the age you were when you first realized your family did not have what other families had. You write checks that change those kids' trajectories. You don't fool yourself into thinking it makes you a good person. It is just something you can do. So you do it. You have made peace with most of the strangeness. You have not made peace with all of it. There are nights you cannot sleep. You wonder if you have done anything real with any of this. You wonder if your great uncle would be proud or disappointed. You will never know him well enough to answer that question. You have a partner now. A woman who came from a similar background of sudden wealth. Her parents sold a company when she was a teenager. She understands the loneliness. She understands the things you cannot say to anyone who did not grow up inside this. You are not married yet. You are thinking about it. You are taking your time. You have learned that everything important takes longer than you expect. You have also learned that being alone in this is the default. The number of people who understand sudden wealth from inside is very small. The number of people you can fully trust with the truth is even smaller. You have spent years learning to be alone in a way that doesn't feel like loneliness. You have not fully succeeded. You don't think anyone in your position ever does. Level 10. The inheritance. You are 60 years old. You have lived inside this money for almost 3 decades. It has shaped every choice you have made, the career you chose, the work you put your name on, the foundation, the businesses you bought into, the people you let close. None of it would have happened without the call. You have 2 children. They are 19 and 22. They have grown up inside a level of comfort that you did not know existed until you were 31. You have tried to raise them to understand it. You don't know if you have succeeded. They had nannies. They had private schools. They had summers in places most adults will never see. They have never worked a job to pay rent. You wonder sometimes what that did to them. You wonder what you took from them by giving them so much. You have set up trusts for them, not the kind that hand them everything at 21, the kind with conditions and tranches and an emphasis on building something themselves before they inherit the bulk of it. They have complained about this loudly and often. You have stood firm. You know what unearned money can do to a person who has not first earned anything. You watched it happen to other heirs you met along the way. The wealth has grown again. The 180 is closer to 300 now. You are no longer involved in the day-to-day of managing it. You have a team. They have a team. The structure is bigger than you. You have given more than 40 million away over the years. You will give much more before you are done. Your partner is now your wife. She has been with you for 18 years, and she is the only person who has ever truly known you. Most of the people who knew you before the call are gone from your life. Some died, some drifted. A few you cut out yourself when it became clear what they wanted. Your parents are still alive, barely. Your father is in a facility you pay for, and his mind is mostly gone. Your mother visits him every day, even though he no longer recognizes her. They never asked you for anything beyond what you offered. You loved them for that. You will love them for that until you die. You sit on a porch sometimes in the evening, looking out at land that you own. The light fades over the trees, and you think about who you used to be. You think about the chip in the cereal bowl. You think about the apartment with the rent you couldn't pay. You think about the man on the other end of the phone. He has been dead now for nearly 30 years. You wonder who you would have become without the call. You will never know. There is no version of that life that exists anywhere except in your imagination. Somewhere, right now, a person is eating cereal at a counter. Their phone is about to ring. They have no idea who is on the other end. They have no idea what is coming for them. The money will arrive, and the life they had will end, and a different life will begin in its place. They will spend decades learning what they have just become. They will lose people they love. They will gain things they never wanted. They will become a stranger to themselves more than once. The cycle continues.